This caricature of Joseph B. Steyer of Decorah was drawn by an unknown actor on the back of a piece of scenery made in 1875 for Steyer's Opera House. Steyer, a Decorah tavern owner, built this three-story brick building with his opera house on the third floor in 1870. The building was surmounted by large block tin letters spelling out Steyer's Opera House, while his first floor tavern sported a large white awning. The second floor was reserved for apartments. Today, the building looks much as it did in 1870, and the Opera House is still behind these windows.
Filled with the clutter of years of neglect, the interior of Steyer's still retains the configuration of a remodeling project in 1875, when the stage was enlarged and moved to its present sidewall position. The balcony was also enlarged and expanded to fill 3 walls. Although the main floor was flat, the balcony was fitted with 3 tiers of risers for benches or folding opera chairs. The theater was lighted by chandeliers like this, while the stage was equipped with these footlight troughs, which ordinarily held kerosene lamps like this tinned font stage lamp or this glass font lamp, both found under the stage. When cleanup crews of college students and faculty from the University of Northern Iowa and Luther and Briarcliff colleges began a renovation project, the hall was emptied of trash, and 100 years of dust was swept up. An exploration of the theater found this old hand truck, these old gaslight fixtures, and the only surviving block tin letter among those which once surmounted the opera house. An old roll drop was uncovered and measured. Then the crew uncovered a large stack of wing and groove scenery and began to pull out and examine the individual wings and flats. This stock of scenery is of a type developed in the 1600s, where wings like this profiled woods wing masked the sides of the stage and were backed by matching pairs of large flats, like this pair of woodland flats which came together in the middle of the stage to form a complete setting. As the crew worked through the pile of scenery, they uncovered other scenic pieces from the 1870s, including this striped fancy interior, this half-timbered thatched roof mill cottage unit with this matching side piece, this pair of flats depicting a watermill and adjoining cottage with practical working windows and doors. The backs of the scenery were as interesting as the fronts. Some long-dead actor, bored while awaiting his entrance cue, inscribed these graffiti on the backs of the scenery. Were they all done by the long-forgotten Mr. Clarence Bennett, who signed this sketch? While one group continued to examine the old scenery, another turned its attention to the stage itself, where it was found that the stage ceiling was still equipped with 4 sets of overhead grooves. The function of the grooves is to support the scenery on stage and to allow for quick and easy scene changes. The long grooves hold pairs of flats, which have to meet at the center of the stage, while the shorter segments support the side wings. After over a century, both grooves and scenery needed repair. Work started on the grooves, while others began removing wallpaper that someone, years ago, had applied over some of the old scenery. When scraping proved to be too slow, a wallpaper steamer was tried with little immediate success. It was concluded that more time and effort would be needed to restore the wallpapered scenery than was available, so attention shifted to repairing the main front roll-drop curtain, which had at some time been ripped away from its stage mounting. The main batten and an attached 2-foot strip of curtain were removed and lowered and carried to where the rest of the front drop and its large roller were laid out on the floor. The two pieces were joined together again with a traditional scenery repair, the Dutchman. A strip of new canvas is laid over the seam and glued in place with old-fashioned wheat paste. Once the wheat paste is dry, the repaired drop is rolled up and brought back to the stage for re-rigging. The drop is suspended in position and the supporting batten is nailed back in place. New rope is prepared for re-rigging the drop curtain. The rope ends are passed through the original blocks, still in place in the stage ceiling. One end of the ropes will be attached to the original stage winch, while the other ends are wrapped around the ends of the curtain roller. The ropes are then attached to the winch.
Well, that's why that one comes straight.
With the front curtain now in place and re-rigged, the crew turned its attention to setting up the stage with its original scenery. Wings and flats are maneuvered into position and slid into place in the grooves. The stage position of some units are indicated by the numbers and letters in the corner. This 2L means that this wing belongs in the second set of grooves on stage left. The wings and flats can be stacked in groups in the grooves, with one setting in front of another. Wooden tabs on the edge of the flats help them to index properly as they meet at the center of the stage, while rollers set into the bottom rail of the flats help them to slide smoothly in the grooves. With the surviving complete settings in place on stage, the stage curtain rises to reveal the first setting, representing a prison. This setting is unusual in that it is double-sided. It is a stone prison on one side, but if the wings and flats are reversed, the other side reveals a back room interior, complete with peeling plaster. This signature of Chicago scene painter Harry Dressel was found on the pair of woodland flats. Dressel had been hired by Steyer in 1875 to paint new scenery for the renovated Opera House, and this woodland exterior is one of those surviving settings. Another Dressel signature shows that this city street scene also dates to 1875. A third Dressel signature was found on the flats depicting the half-timbered cottage and water mill, here set up in conjunction with the wood wings. And a fourth signature was found on the freestanding mill cottage unit, here set up with the water mill flats for a background. A final setting may once have been a fancy interior, perhaps by Dressel, but was repainted at some time to represent a highland exterior. Large arched center doors can still be seen in the back flats, while an opening identified on the back of the flat as a secret panel still pivots on its center pin. With the scenery in place, it was time to attempt a couple of scene changes, as they would have been done in the 18th and 19th centuries, in full view of the audience. At the sound of the prompter's whistle, stagehands shoved the new setting on in front of the old one, not always successfully. Problems are discussed, and it is decided to attempt the change again.
That's great.
On this final scene change, the crew can't resist bringing some life to the old scenery. Ultimately, of course, the curtain must come down.
The curtain closes off the old scenery, but the spirit of Joseph Steyer remains to watch over his opera house, as it is today and as it was yesterday.